In the dark, I plant my dreams. Permaculture flows like big streams. I'm the daddy with the north. In the world like it's meant to be. I'm the king. That's love. Everything. Bring a change. Making it last.
Welcome to episode 419 of the Permaculture Pimpcast, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is My Passion. The only Pimpcast on planet Earth where we discuss permaculture, preparedness, practical living, and sometimes even prostitutes. Oh, yeah, good to be here with y'all and finally doing an interview that is long overdue. Folks, we'll come into that in a minute. But yeah, episode 419. This episode, as always, brought to you by the Sovereign Health Summit. That's going to be in Harmony, North Carolina, October 27th through the 31st. TPC, Tango Papa Charlie, will get you 5% off. We're going to have Barbara O'Neill as our headliner. It's going to be a 5-day event, and we got a bunch of other folks out there as well. Dr. Ely, Dr. Merritt, and a bunch of others out there, Dr. Tenpenny, a bunch of others out there that are moving the needle in a big way. You're going to want to be there. And folks, if you can't be there live, I mean, who even knows what's going to be going on in this world at that time? Right now, we're fighting a war, not only abroad, but we got one at home. You know, that war where they poison your food, they poison your air through the chemtrails and all the other stuff, poison the water. They poison just about everything that's out there right now, folks. And if you see a pattern with this show, we're talking about ways in which you can get yourself much, much, much better. So remember, Sovereign Health Summit, that's going to be in October. If you want to be there virtually, we got that option as well. So without further ado, y'all, I am going to bring on our latest guest. This is Inesa from Inesa P. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your last name. From Nessa's Hemp. How many times have we tried to schedule this? 5 times?
I think 5 times we've been scheduled so far, and something happened. We couldn't make it, but we tried to reach each other and figured out how to make this happen for a year or so now. So it's been a while. Yeah,
it's been a while, folks. Let me just tell you, I believe, and I think Inesa too, is that the enemy doesn't want this thing to happen. I mean, I have never one time she's just comes down with something. The next time it's a weird schedule. And then the last time, which was supposed to happen last week, check this out, folks. This never has happened before. Actually, 2 things recently happened. The interview we did with Dr. Jack Cruz, all of a sudden, lo and behold, we couldn't upload it. And then when we did, they only had half the interview. And then we're all scheduled, ready to rock and roll this last time. And what happens? Internet goes down, and the moment we were supposed to broadcast, it goes down, and then it comes back up 30 minutes later, have no explanation for any of that stuff. So I think the powers that shouldn't be don't want this to happen. They don't want you to have this information. So look, anybody that's coming in right now, thanks everybody in the chat. If you would, give a thumbs up and tell everybody we're live, because we're going to be talking about things that the powers that shouldn't be don't want anybody knowing about. And that's why we're bringing on Inesa from Nesa's Hemp. So, every superhero out here, I always begin podcasts this way with people that are doing big things in the world. You being one of them, every superhero has an origin story. Why don't you tell us what brought you to this space, Inesa?
I think I think besides God, which is he's the number one who really brought me here, I would always go to authority to him first. Besides God, I think he shaped my life, informed my life, where I had a certain situations, which is my mother. She was diagnosed with cancer. And because I do love my family very much and the rest of the people in the world, I had to do whatever it takes to save my mom. So what I decided to do is actually wasn't so easy. Just the way I said, like she was already attacked by darkness, and she was drinking for over a year alcohol. So, and that was really affecting me because I don't drink alcohol. I don't touch that I call it devil's drink. And I understand too much, not just the science, but also spiritual attacks that happens through alcohol. So I really kind of ended that years back. And when my mother was drinking heavily at home because of, sadness and the hard life and hardships, and being alone and lonely, um, the devil took that advantage. And I literally walked away from her by asking her so many times to change. I offered to help. I walked in her house and I said, please let me help you. And I walked away because it was affecting my life. I would be heartbroken every single day when I go to work, and I can't function because I'm always sad about my mom. So I had to detach that pain and just go and pray, and was the hardest thing I had to do in my life, to say basically no to your mom. I'm not going to talk to you anymore because you are truly affecting me because I love you too much. So when she called me first time after 6 months not talking because of that specific reason, it was a big deal because why she's calling me. We kind of had a conversation. We're not going to talk anymore because she was hurting me a lot with her certain words. And and again, it's not my mom was hurting me, it was the spirit, the Jezebel spirit was actually using my mother to hurt me. So then she called me, was a big deal. So when I answered the call and I said, hi mom, and she says, hi, I want to let you know I have 6 months left to live, and I would like you to come back home and spend some time with me because I have colon cancer. And I was given 6 months. And I was I was absolutely, that was the best day of my life because I saw the vision that I'm living through today. I saw me healing the mom somehow, some way, shape, or form. And I did not know exactly how this is going to happen and how it's going to unfold. But I saw the vision how me, my mom being healed in the middle, and there's like thousands of people around my mother being also healed, and they're all like happy, celebrating. And I sensed they all had cancer or some other disease, and they're all happy now, and they're looking at me and they thanking me and they want to hug and cuddle and just be nice and sweet. And when I saw that vision, as my mom literally crying on the phone and telling me that she misses me and she wants me to come back, I'm literally crying and I say, mom, you're not gonna die. And she said, why? I said, because you're gonna be healed. And she's like, how I'm gonna be healed? And I said, I'm gonna heal you. I said, I don't know. It's like, you're not a doctor. It's like, that's the weirdest part. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how. I will figure it out. And I'm gonna come back home tonight to figure out how I'm going to heal you. I'm gonna read every possible book because I know there is a cure for cancer. And I know somebody has a cure because I was already aware of like holistic medicine. I was aware of how the industry works. I was already victimized by pharmaceuticals myself. And I said, mom, you're going to be healed. And because of what happened to you, I said, you're currently healing the world. She's like, I know you're not crazy. And I know you're not taking any medications. She's like, can you please FaceTime me? Because as a little girl, you used to like sleep and talk and walk. So I thought maybe you're just doing this right now. Maybe you're not even processing what's going on at the moment. And she FaceTimed me. He's like, no, mom, I am awake at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting ready to go work out. I'm making my smoothie. I'm fully aware what's happening. You got diagnosed with cancer, and your cancer is going to save the world. And she's like, I don't understand this, but can you just come back home? It's like, yes, of course. So the same day, I just packed my suitcase, took my passport, and left the country. Called my boss, of course. I said, I'm not gonna come to work today. And he's like, why? I said, then what? When you're gonna come back? And I said, I don't know when I'm gonna come back. It's like, you might lose your job. No problems. Give up on my job. Whatever I need to do, I'm leaving the country. And when I left the country, of course, that was literally the moment, Billy, that was the moment where I started studying and researching everything about not just cancer, but like understanding how the body works, how the science works, where is the cure, if there is a cure, right? So it's just like went super, super deep in a super deep rabbit hole. And to be honest with you, I can't take the credit that I was able to help my mom to heal. I think God wanted me to think that I did something so honorable so he can keep me going on this path, because now that I look the way it helps my mom to heal, these protocols not even close of the strength what we're doing today. Like, I'm like, I can't even believe she was healed this way. It's like, yes, we did a lot of great, amazing things for my mom. But at the same time, because as I was learning, anything I learned at that time, I just wanted to apply because it made sense to me. So based on the research and studies and conversations. So yeah, my mother officially got healed 3 months later. She was actually cancer free. We went to the same physicians. We got scans, we got ultrasound, not ultrasounds, we got actually the blood work also. So they said no more cancer found, which was great. But at the same time, it's like, what do you do now? Like, God just says, okay, you can do this. Like, that vision was real, but I wasn't really based on the vision. I started really just volunteering and going to people's homes and helping people to get better. And after my work hours, and eventually got so busy because these people did get better, and they start calling me, and I had to change. And 6 months later, I literally had to quit my job to do this as full-time and open my official LLC that was actually named on my mother's feeling of being cancer free, which is, she said that she was feeling she's love to live. So that's why the company was called Love to Live. Right now we call it Regenesis 369 doing business as, but Love to Live is my first LLC was ever formed under my mother's feeling of being cancer free.
Wow, what a powerful testimony. There's a whole lot of people out there. I mean, we have record numbers right now. And of course, the powers that shouldn't be aren't talking about this, but pretty intrepid researchers are talking about how we got all cancers going off the charts, whether it's turbo cancers, and we think it's all a result of maybe that jab, almost certainly is. And then, of course, a number of other things. So, I mean, you're known for Inesa's Hemp. And by the way, folks, I'm just going to hold up the bottle because I actually use her product. It's right here. I've been using it for over a year and a half. And to tell you how difficult this was I've been reaching out to her for at least a year and it never got to her. Somehow, some way, here we are today. And I got to believe that there's a reason for that. So, Inesa, I want to ask you, what drew you to hemp specifically? I mean, was it with your mom's ailment or, her cancer, rather? I'll just say it that way. Was it the health? Was it farming, frustration with conventional means? What made you reach out to hemp as being, and I'm guessing that's one of the modalities you use to cure your mom?
It's a really good question. I never wanted to be part of the hemp industry in my life. I'm still like, why did you put me here, God? It's like the reason why hemp, because as I was researching to help my mother, I learned about the biggest elephant in the room in a global scale, and about endocannabinoid system. And I would like to touch base later on that. So when I learned that endocannabinoid system does exist in every single human body, and that system really controls and regulates almost every pattern and communication between other systems, it totally made sense that if I empower this one system, the rest of them will light up automatically. So, and I said, okay, I need to empower my mother's endocannabinoid system. Oh, that's what you're doing right now. Love it. It's literally like hundreds of health benefits kicks in within the first 30 seconds you take it. So I said, okay, so I'm going to look for a good quality product. And I was back home in Lithuania at that time, and I was already looking for the good quality products. And I found this in Lithuania was completely illegal. You can't even talk about hemp. I'm talking about, doesn't matter if it's cannabis, hemp, CBD, you can't even talk about him. So this person literally gave me from he was growing somewhere hiding. And Lithuania is such a small, tiny country. Like he's barely found on the map. So to kind of know people doing somewhere hiding, it's kind of it's a big deal for that tiny country. And I used the hemp, of course, because it totally made sense. There's endocannabinoid system. Nobody talks about it. It's like the most essential system in a human body that was ever found in a human history. And then is also, we have this plant that actually can empower that system. So when I was healing my mom, I was just happy that I found this good quality, raw, super, super raw hemp. But when my mother was healed, and when I started helping these people, I said, oh my gosh, I need to use the same good quality hemp products. And I started looking what the market looks in America. And more I looked, worse it got. To the point where today I can truly say I'm against this industry 99.9%. I wish we never even got to this point, the way things are going right now. It's really, really chronic pandemic we have in the cannabis industry. And consumers have no idea what's going on. They have no idea what's behind the doors. So when I was actually realizing, it's like water, for example, your body's made from water and you need water. So now it's like, okay, I'm going to heal my mom. I need to give her water, right? But then I'm going to give her nice, clean, probably mineral, fresh water. But at the same time, I came in America and I want to help people to choose a good quality water. And all what I have is clearly a toilet water. So it's just like, what are you going to do? You have a shock reaction, right? So it's like, same was with the cannabis industry. It was like, it wasn't even triggering endocannabinoid system. Forget about that point, the way it should. The industry itself is so dirty where I call like bunch drug dealers decided to have a new official business and become in a medical field, right? So it was like a way to legalize themselves. So it was very scary because I'm a very uh, I started very humble beginnings, not just in this country, but also in my entire life. Like my whole life was never easy. Like I seen the darkness of the dark, and that fighter internally, it's there because every time I saw injustice in the world, I said one day I'll be a strong, powerful woman and I'm gonna come back to bring justice. So when I start realizing there's no good quality products, I said I need to know this because it's like not having a water to drink in our country. It's like in Africa, or like this is how bad it is. Like I don't, it's a complete crime against humanity at that point. No, especially understanding essentials of endocannabinoid system. Nobody understands that, so for them, this information maybe so not relevant. So, and I start traveling the country, and I traveled the country, and I called the companies. I picked out the best companies in America, and I said I want to come and really see what these products are because I already learned that you gotta check the quality, you gotta check the supplements, you gotta check the herbs, you gotta check everything. You never trust the label, you never trust whatever it said in marketing materials. You gotta know for sure. So I started traveling the country because I understood the need and essential and the pandemic, how there's none products, or thought I'm going crazy. So I said, I gotta go figure it out. So I jumped on the car, jumped on the plane, rented the car, and started California, Oregon. I mean, you name it. I went all over Colorado. Can't speak today. I literally been on 3 hours of sleep. Colorado. Can you speak today?
Colorado.
Colorado, yes. So went literally in the top growers, top CBD brands, cannabis brands, you name it. And the things I saw was beyond horrific. Like it was the stuff and the lies and everything. And I questioned. I said, "You guys aware this is like needed for our country to heal humanity? I mean, this is one of the most essential elements. We can literally give it to the masses and empower everyone's endocannabinoid system. And by 90 days, these people gonna be functioning in pretty decent level. That means we can get our country off the opioids and all kinds of other medications pretty fast." And they said, we don't care about it. Like, this is the quality. If you don't like it, you buy it. I said, no, I can't suggest this to a single client or the person I'm working with. There's no way in the world. Then too bad, because there's millions who will buy it. And the stuff was in these products. It was mold. Forget about the metals, forget CBD itself is a drug. It's actually a drug. Like it's a real thing. CBD is a drug. And that science behind also there. So, and when I say a drug, by the way, I mean it's patented by Food and Drug Administration as a drug for epilepsy. That's why it's called CBD. And that's why owned by Food and Drug Administration. And it's literally the patent that they hold and they control basically that compound, right? So I realized what's going on, and I thought, if I'm going crazy or rest of the world is going crazy. So I gotta talk to somebody smarter than me. So I figured to connect with Dr. Meshulam and Professor Meshulam from Hebrew University, because he's the one like a godfather in the cannabis industry, multi-Nobel Prize, not just a researcher. He discovered a lot of cannabinoids and endocannabinoids. So, like, he's a very, very well-known, respected human being on the planet Earth in this specific topic. And I literally didn't get him on the call so easy as somebody super famous as himself, but because I'm very determined, and eventually got to the point where he called me. And when he called me, I was literally in the car wash. And I see the calls coming from Israel. And I said, this is my only one chance to talk to this man. Otherwise, I have to fly in Israel. There's no way. Like, there's no way he's going to call me back again. Like, it's like a president's calling right now, right? It's like you pick it up or what you do. And you literally, my car wheels just got locked in the car wash. And I had to calculate my risk. I looked at the who's behind me. There was no cars. And I realized the worst case scenario, I'm just going to destroy my wheels. I don't know how I got it out, but I literally I knew I had to answer the phone within 15, 20, 30 seconds, because otherwise I'm going to lose this person after 2-3 months hunting him down. So I'd mess up all my wheels. The car wash were screaming at me, like, and they coming, and I'm like trying to talk to me, and I'm like, no, go away from me. It's like, no. And I'm like, is Dr. Meshulam here? He's like, yes, this is Meshulam. And then he answered the phone. I was so terrified that he's going to hang up on me because I'm in such a stressful situation. There's people chasing me. There's people banging my windows. Like, and like I'm trying to talk to this person that it literally means the world right now. And he's like, I said, please, do not hang up the phone. Please do not hang up the phone. It's like, this is critical. It's like a life or death question for the country, for the world. It's like, please do not. It's like, what's going on? He's like, I can see he's already stressing himself, that he realized it's urgent or something is bad going on. So I kind of took care of my situation, and I got the peace to talk to him. And as a Dr. Meshulam, it's like, which university are you calling from? Stanford or Harvard? It's like, no, I'm just a girl who's trying to change the world and make the world a better place. It's like, okay, that's interesting. And he said to me, it's like, how can I help you? And I said, I just wanted to be very honest. I said, this is what I discovered, and I'm not probably the smartest person on this topic, but I did enough research to know. I said, there's an endocannabinoid system in the human body. And if I understood correctly what the science has been saying, if we empower this endocannabinoid system from the day we are born, which is mother's breast milk actually does that. Mother's breast milk is full of these indigenous cannabinoids, by the way, when we talk about colostrum and all that stuff, how it's critical. No, it's not the baby's immune system we're actually building. We're building baby's endocannabinoid system. The baby's IQ can't even develop in the higher levels unless you empower endocannabinoid system. This is how real the system is. It's like entire intelligence, not how just regulate your body and make sure you never get sick, or even if you get sick, that system helps you to protect yourself. It's also responsible for your IQ, for your intelligence, for your development, and even spiritual at the same time. It's very wild. It does trigger certain genes that is helping you connect with God. So, and knowing that, and I said, Dr. Meshulam, I said, this is endocannabinoid system that's critical for all of us to empower. We all kind of lose that essentials of the system by age 16 or 18. There's no physician even knows about the system, and there's no product on the market can help me to empower the system. I said, if I'm going crazy or everybody else is going crazy? And he's like, well, tell me more. It's like, I said, the problem is like everybody sells this drug. It's called CBD. But the CBDA has never been talked about it. And I never found a plant that has a CBD in it. There's also, it's all raw cannabinoids, and they seem are the ones to be who actually empowering endocannabinoid system the most effective possible ways. And they cannot be patented. They cannot be owned or controlled by anybody. He says, you got the point. And I said, okay. So what I'm going to do with my point? I said, we need to heal the country. We need to heal the world. And this is the easiest way to at least to start to give a jump start for anyone's body, anywhere from childhood to the 90 years old, because we all need it. We're all deficient. And he's like, what are you trying to accomplish? I said, I'm looking for the best quality product so I can put my name behind, my life behind, knowing that I'm giving to my family, myself, and everybody I'm working with. I said, I'm looking for, since every country, probably every every best product in the world. Since you're the most respected person in the industry, I said, can you please suggest me which company I should trust to investigate? I want to investigate these companies. And he said, the things you're looking for, you're not going to find out there. And I said, what do you mean? And then I start talking about the quality and how the hemp is actually, it's a sponge for the toxins. And we got to conclusion that the conversation ended where he said to me, like, I said, if I'll decide to do what's right for humanity, are you going to help me? He says, I can't help you officially because I am in a contracts of all these different companies, and one of them actually was pharmaceuticals. So it's like, I can't be behind your brand if you ever make one or help you, but I can guide you, and I can say that if you're going to do what you're planning to do, you are going to stand against the grain. You're going to be completely by yourself, but you're definitely going to do the right thing for humanity. And I said, that's all what I need to hear. As long as I'm not going crazy, and as long as I'm going to do the right thing for humanity, I said, I'm ready. So came back home with my broken wheels. At that point, I didn't care. I already knew I need to change everything about my wheels. Like, literally even have pictures. Came back home, cried it out. Was like, God, do you really want me to do this? Because I'm not interested to do farming and products. I just want to heal people. I just want to share. I want to know everything about cancer and disease and heal people. And it got to conclusion where I had to take the chance and I had to follow the lead and to develop the product that was needed to empower endocannabinoid system. So that's how actually brand started.
Okay. Wow, there's a lot to unpack in there. That's quite a story, and you're actually quite an impressive storyteller. So yeah, you got me hanging on with every, having heard that story before, I'm so glad you told it again, because it leads to my next question, which is going to be, for years and years, I remember when I first discovered, it was actually my wife that first figured out the benefits of CBD. And early on, it was absolutely mind-boggling because early on we had places where we could go and get decent stuff. There was one kid I knew that had glioblastoma. They gave him no chance at all. He did it in Texas. When I was training to become a permaculture designer, he was growing his own stuff in Texas, and he said, enough with whatever you're doing for me. They took out a tumor in his brain the size of my fist, and he cured himself of the worst cancer on earth by using hemp. So I was like, hold on, as a very ignorant person, I didn't know the difference between hemp and marijuana, because all the Hooter bandits I grew up with, they'd do a little puff, puff, give, and they would act like weirdos. And I was like, okay, man, I had a bad understanding, I think, as to what the benefits of this could be. But anyway, seeing how Cody cured the worst brain cancer, which, by the way, killed my nephew, and seeing that he had done this for himself, it told me, okay, there's got to be something here. But you mentioned a moment ago, and something I was going to bring up anyway, that hemp in most cases is a bioaccumulator, not necessarily for good things. I mean, it's like a vacuum cleaner of all the heavy metals and the other stuff in the environment. How is your stuff different from everybody else out there? Because by and large, the people that are doing this, they have almost no quality controls, as you well know. What are you doing differently?
We're doing so different where the people that truly understands the industry, and I had to meet so many of them lately because we having a thought process to prepare for the Congress, for me to testify on very important topics for our country. And I'm currently putting my board of members, and some of these people are being regulators and are good peeps that exhausted fighting the industry, exhausted. They're just beating the same thing, and there's no results. So after they saw our labs, and those are very, very well respected, not just multi-PhDs in Harvard research that owns like FDA registered laboratories. I'm not talking just about these people. I'm talking about regulators. I'm talking about people that puts the laws together. And I can't share the names today. We have NDA, and as I said, there's a big project we're doing for the country. They said we never seen a single product even close to what you guys doing. And the quality we're talking about will take me 30 minutes just to explain that. But I can just tell you that very short, that it's unheard of, it's unseen. We've been purchased by FDA multiple times now because I saw where they shipped the bottles and they tried to test it. But they don't realize that the number one desire that I have to make as most perfect as possible to the finished bottle. Like I'm literally, that's the only one desire I have. Perfect in terms of the quality and the healing compounds, because there's two ways to be perfect in the cannabis industry. One is make sure we have every portfolio, every cannabinoid, the terpene, the flavonoid to heal the body, to empower endocannabinoid system, the most essential system in the human history that physicians don't even know how to pronounce it in the medical schools. This is how bad it is. This is literally a crime against humanity. Our physicians don't know. And now they put this fake CBD that is currently controlled by Food and Drug Administration. They're just not giving, but they know, I can't talk because again, there's so much going on preparing for Congress. Like the stuff I'm seeing, it's already on passing laws. Like the stuff is going on behind the scenes is horrific. The laws they want a new pass right now. And thank goodness President Trump at least announced it, a fact. In the 100 last years, we finally officially announced that there's an endocannabinoid system. I'm not sure why he pushed it for 70-year-olds, but this system exists for the newborns. In fact, the newborn can't even develop themselves without that system. The newborn can't even exist on this earth without that system. So it's like, you see how we're pushing it for the people with Social Security that's done, or social, like they have to be socialists, like you're already done, you exhausted all these drugs, we're gonna give. It's so wrong. And you know what the saddest part is? Where I get really upset. And this is, I'm not being angry right now. I'm being humble, but I'm broken because people are dying every single day and nobody cares. There's another supplement claims this and do this. Another company does this and this. The saddest part here, Billy, is the holistic industry. Look at freaking numbers. It's growing like crazy because people are exhausted from the drugs. I call physicians, the bad ones that are not open-minded ones. I said, you guys are drug dealers for mafia cartels, for the pharmaceutical companies, because I want to show you how to help people to heal from any disease under the sun. Let me show you what we do in Regenesis 369. Let me show you how these people heal fast from all kinds of conditions, with no problems. Themselves. I'm not a magician here. You guys can do the same. Most doctors don't care. That's why they call them the ones don't care. I said, you are a drug dealer for the pharmaceutical companies. Those are mafia cartels. So people are exhausted from these guys. But the problem we have here, there's another problem. Nobody sees it yet because everybody talks about the holistic medicine. And the CBD is part of it. And that's how the CBD got tricked in this whole thing. They can't trick me. The devil can't even trick me. I was asked to sell my soul twice now for 9-figure numbers. And I said no to it. They told me, do I die? I said, not a big deal. I'm not afraid to die. I'm finally going to meet the one I love the most. Seriously. They said you're the most dangerous woman in the world. We can't harass you to kill. And then at the same time, you don't take the money we offer. I said, that's exactly why you want me. And they said, that's exactly why we want you. And I said, that's exactly why you're not going to get me. You know who's going to get me? Humanity, the people. I'm going to send to people. And the problem is, this is where the problem is. Holistic industry right now, the supplement industry is growing like crazy. It's like the fastest growing industry right now is literally holistic medicine. The supplements, the natural foods, the labels. But put the dots together. The people that are dying is dying faster than the industry is growing. So the industry is going so fast and the demand is there and people are buying what they need to buy. Why they're not healing? What's going on with the statistics here? The numbers don't make sense to me specifically, unless I'm missing the point that I'm not the biggest number girl here. I just know how to put the dots together within a gene level, within disease level, where we can help people to heal. But it's like, you see what I'm saying? So the CBD industry just sneaked in like a serpent in this holistic medicine. And they said, this is your natural plant, this one little compound, CBD or whatever. And then they hybrided these THCs out there that never supposed to be on the earth in the first place. God never intended for us to smoke weed. What is this? Is anybody ever looked at the research? So when people say, Inesa, you sell pot, I don't even know what to tell these people. I feel so sorry. And especially when the Christians, when pure Christians, you guys go in the church and beg God to save you from whatever you have. While God gave you the most intelligent system in a human body to protect you, to prevent you, to help you, to fight you from anything under the human earth, anything. You pray, then the solution comes in. Somebody who's truly speaking the truth, who's serving the Lord, who's serving the Christ from bottom of her heart, you says, I'm not interested. This is pot. And it's not a person's problem, because for the last 100 years, these people that knew essentials of endocannabinoid system did very good job to make sure these people reject you, the hemp itself, from the school systems, from the church systems, from every possible system. So these people are just the victims. What has been done for us not to know about this for the last 100 years? This is how bad the situation is. Forget about this beyond dirty. Forget about this full of toxins. The stuff I'm doing this year, this world is never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. You guys gonna know the truth, and it's gonna be so presented just like freaking Epstein files, no less than more.
Wow. You definitely got my attention on a number of things right there. And you brought up something. I'm going to take a little tact here because I'm glad you brought up something near and dear to my heart. For example, your product, we sent it off to my mother-in-law. And the hardest people to get to wake up to what you're talking about regarding CBD, and particularly what you were talking about, CBDA, are Schofield evangelical baby boomers. Mm-hmm. For some reason, they seem to think that they're going to wind up around the 7-Eleven eating a bunch of Twinkies like they just smoked a pound of dope or something. And that's not the case. In fact, with my mother-in-law, she was taking it for a while. And then her chiropractor told her, well, it ain't going to do you any good, which tells me that guy's a quack. Because, when it comes to issues in the anxiety with myself and my wife, it moves the needle in a massive way. So why do you think there's this massive reluctance? And I guess it's a rhetorical question of sorts, but why this massive reluctance in most of the evangelical community when I just took it on air. I just took it while we're here. I've taken it earlier today and I'll take it later on today. To my understanding, I don't think you can overuse this stuff. I mean, maybe you'll tell me if I can, but why this massive resistance by the people that would benefit most?
One thing I want to say here, and this is going to be deep. If you're going to look at the statistics, who is using actually kind of hemp products, the states are thriving the most is going to be more like, and I'm so not into politics at this point, and I'm so not even into like dividing religions. I'm literally a human being who just judges absolutely no one because I have no authority. Let's make that clear. And I want to just save God's children. That's it. Doesn't matter what color you are in, doesn't matter like religion you're in, you're God's child. But if you look at data, statistics of our country right now, cannabis or even the CBD or good quality hemp products would be located more in like Air One store in California, Calabasas. There's a reason why. There's a reason why in California. In California, what we have going on is we have probably more like a different view of religion than Christians itself. If you look at, what the numbers say. When last time I looked, that was what I saw. I don't want to be wrong here, and fact check me. But the states that are super, super more into Christianity are the ones are Christians, strongly believe in God, and are trying to strongly seek for God, have less exposure to this right here. What the difference between Christian and non-Christian? So the Christian, when they connect, moves the needle with the gene. That's one of the genes is a God's gene, where you talk to God, God's talking to you, and you finally can hear him. So when the Satan comes in, says, don't do that, says, no, I'm gonna grab my cross. You, Satan, don't do this to me. You don't do this to me, Satan. I'm gonna grab my cross. So Christians, they're very they're trying at least to connect with God. There's multiple levels of loving God, connecting, knowing, and being and participating in God's life. But what happens here with Christians when you connect really with God? And I'm not saying I have the most perfect answer here, but I truly believe I do connect with God in very deep levels. Then you connect, which is that triggers that connection right there. What happens to you? You're unstoppable. You are unstoppable. The fire in you, now you are the source of the Lord. The Lord is running you right now. Direct communication. There's no Wi-Fi disconnection, nothing. The devil's trying to talk to you. Nope, nothing. The devil, go ahead. I'm now through my endocannabinoid system here. You look the truly science behind what happens in the genes and the pathways and all and above. You're truly connecting with God through that system too. And when the Christians really start directly talking to him about the Satan interfering in the conversation and misguiding them to left and right, what they're going to do? Look at me. Good luck stopping this woman. They're going to move. They're going to move the needle. And when we have millions of Christians serving the Lord and moving the needle for Christ, God forbid they all got empowered with endocannabinoid system, what happens? It's very simple answer right here. That's it. We know the truth. Then we know the truth. The Christians will move the needle. So they're going to move the needle all kinds of aspects. Not to lie, not to steal, not to cheat. The families, everything gets fixed. Not the one issue, not just the health. Look what the real Christian, the real true Christian is full of humility. It's full of like, how did I just make that person feel? They think about others. Is none of this feminine energy, masculine energy. It's like, no, there's a godly woman and there's a manly woman. Did I participated today in my day as a godly woman? If answer is no, and if you know you're connecting with God, you're going to do whatever it takes. Make sure you participate in your day as a godly woman because you're serving your Christ. So it's a disconnect, right? They're trying to disconnect us from multiple. This endocannabinoid system is a one-time shot for thousands of different, like it's crazy when you start really researching. I've been in this for many, many years now. I've been fighting. Dr. Meshulam was 100% right. He says, you're going to be alone if you're going to make it. You're probably not going to make it even on the market, which is, I mean, it was blood and tears, and it's still blood and tears. It's still not easy. Nothing is easy here. Like nothing is absolutely easy here, but I'm very blessed. So why Christians are so blocked from this information is because God forbid they knew they're not just going to feel better and get better. God forbid they really start connecting with God and the Satan is no longer interfering and not disconnecting their Wi-Fi. What happens to all those Christians when the engine is turned on? God.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm wondering. You know, there was a time in American history and even world history to a degree that some of the most important and powerful things that have ever been done by Christian people, but they've all acquiesced. They're all in the matrix right now. They don't want to get into anything. And the hardest people to wake up to the things like, let's say, the Epstein files, strangely enough, are evangelical Christians who couldn't care less. Their pastors aren't talking about it in church. And I think you may be hitting on a couple of things that maybe there's a reason why they want to shut down people like yourself and not have us aware of what it is you're doing. So, Inesa, to that point, I want you to explain, because there's probably still a number of people out there that are wondering, okay, well, what makes yours so much different? So what you have in this bottle right here, the one I use every single day, compared to the stuff that they're going to hit, at the corner grocery down the way when they say we sell not THC, but CBD. What's going on in that bottle, and why should they purchase it from you as opposed to the grocery store down the road? What's so different about what you're doing?
So it's very different. It's the God's version, number one. And I'm going to explain the scientific and the basic difference, where you don't have to be a scientist to understand this. This is literally going to click for somebody who's, 12 years old. First of all, the difference between CBD and CBDA is CBD is a second version. If you take the plant from the soil, there's all kinds of plants. There's genetically engineered. There's the ones been around for thousands of years. It's hard to find. Thank goodness, somehow be able to be blessed. So there is multiple plants, right? But the real plant, the hemp plant, if you take from the soil and study the chemistry there's no CBD in it. There's a CBDA, there's a CBGA, there's a THCA, which does not make you high and does not cause you this psychoactive approach for your brain. So all these acidic cannabinoids, nobody gets high, right? And there's a lots of terpenes, and there's a lots of flavonoids that also plays a crucial role to the healing journey. It doesn't matter what you need to heal at that point. So what we did, specifically in Inesa's hemp, we grew the hemp. It took me 2 years to develop the soil, by the way. I found it was very hard to find a good farmer. And when I say good farmer, I felt really bad for most of them out there, because everybody was using fertilizers, and even the organic certified farms were horrific. So it's first of all, you're not going to plant this beautiful seed in a dirty soil. And when I say dirty, it got to be clean, not just from microplastics. I'm talking about the metals, the fungus, the fungi, the mildews, and all that stuff, right? Because to make sure mildew doesn't grow on your plants, because mildew on the fungus is actually going to cause you cancer. It is the root of the cancer. It's one of the root of the cancers. So our plants, forget about have a greatest seeds. Forget about grown in the most nurtured soil, which is 1 teaspoon of soil. We have more microbes in 1 teaspoon than the entire world of people. Microbes are so rich. So what they do, they keep nurturing the plant to the point where the plant expresses in the best version of themselves. What does that mean for the plant? The plant's job is to express their genes, the medicinal portfolios, the flavonoids. It's like the woman that is glooming in the family, in the loving family, and there's a woman who is being abused in somewhere and beat up, in someone's island and abused. There's same 2 women. They probably have very similar genetics. At the same time, they're going to function completely different on this earth when they're going to leave the house. One is getting abused all day long, only God knows where and how, and she's miserable and depressed. And the other one is nurtured and loved, and she has a family, and she's a godly woman, she has a godly husband. So you see, those are 2 different human beings. They're same, but they're different. So they function on this planet differently. Same your plant. Your plant functions completely different. It depends on how you raise it, how you grow it, how you're going to do, how you're going to express the portfolio of the plant. Those things are absolutely non-negotiable for the most important endocannabinoid system. So number 1, we grow everything beyond clean. The organic, for us to get organic, it was the organization said we can do that with our eyes closed. You guys are at that point beyond organic. The levels we do, for example, even our soil, the cows are used to use the blood, and we used also the blood for the soil to feed the soil, but not just the blood, but also waste. The cows we use, these cows, they had 19 generations, no vaccines. Good luck finding that cow in America. So I had to find these cows in Japan. So it's like 19 generations, because that gene, it does play the role if it's mutated from the vaccines, from the shots, from all these cows are purged with disease in America, right? So for me to even feed the soil clean so I can plant a beautiful hemp seed in there so the hemp can express themselves in the most beautiful portfolio out there. I had to even think about the cow, where the cow came from, what kind of blood she had. Like, it's just, this is how we went above and beyond. And then of course our plants expresses themselves because I pray. I go on my knees and I truly pray. I ask my girls to heal the world. I ask them to do what God intended to do on endocannabinoid system. And we don't allow just technology. Like even right now, last night, it's even Friday to Saturday, I was working all night long in manufacture. So we're preparing for production currently right now. Guess what? Nobody touches my girls. I pray, I put my hands on. There's no machinery involved. Everybody literally it's everything is a hand touch, just like thousands of years ago. So, and then we extract. And the way we extract, which was a painful process, we're going through this right now. We currently extracting our oil in a facility 20 miles from here. It literally comes one drop at a time. And we gotta watch the temperatures because it's a very sensitive way the machinery works. God forbid you go couple Fahrenheit up, couple down. It does penetrate the plant differently, and the plant starts talking differently. And we don't want the plant to change the tone. We want the plant, make sure the plant stays exact same frequency. Every possible cannabinoid, the terpene, the flavonoid stays exactly the same way to transfer it in these one of the most expensive bottles on the market, which is called Myron glass bottles. And then we protect the plant's heartbeat in the bottle. And then what we do is to prove you that everything what I just told you is the truth. So you don't have to fact check me and go around the country and visit things and go crazy like I had to do and spend besides a lot of money and lots of time and stress and everything else. It's so easy to fact check us because on the bottom, we're the only one company in the world. On the bottom, when you purchase a bottle, when you go actually on search box on our website, you type in the lot numbers, and guess what? You have pages and pages and pages of a real, not the fake lab reports, real lab reports of this product being tested from all kinds of molds, pesticides, herbicides, the metals, the cannabinoids, the terpenes, the flavonoids, the medicinal portfolio is full, and then every possible thing. So the laboratory did this actually testing. They are real certified laboratory and they do not fake your lab reports. Most laboratories do. They literally they ask you, it's like, hey, how do you want your labs to look like? And they just make the stuff up. But the stuff that is sold on the market is literally cancer. Besides, it's been genetically modified. Besides, it's sold for pharmaceuticals. Besides, it's you see, no wonder why Christians are afraid of. You see what I'm saying? It's like, because we don't have a solution. I mean, we do, but we don't, like, not that the world knows about us, but like we have, for the people who are blessed to have access to us, we have a solution. But like what I'm trying to say here in a massive scale, this is the pandemic I'm talking about. So our products are not just proven tested. We are currently going through GMP certification, and which is a big deal for our facility. You're USD certified. That doesn't mean anything to me. It's just a little tiny logo for people who are Air One to see that's a great product, because nobody looks above that. So consumers, I'm talking the store itself, they do a really due diligence to investigate the brands. But this is the problem. This is the problem, the industry, and this is what I'm against. But the good news, no single company can match our quality. No single company can match our portfolios, medicinal portfolios, the quality. And this is the standard that should be given to our industry to follow for every single cannabinoid or terpene or even cannabis company out there. It's very simple.
Well, folks, you know my policy here. I never have anybody on this show. Well, there's been a couple that slipped by me before, but unless I actually use it, I'm never going to tell you about it. So I've been using this stuff for a year and a half. And if it didn't work, believe me, I'd know it by now. So, I mean, I use it religiously. In fact, I buy usually 3 bottles at a time and I'm probably going through this stuff faster than I should. But look, folks, like I said, you'll never hear me promote anything on this show that I don't personally use. So teamed up with Inesa over at Nesa's Hemp, and you can get 10% off with promo code PERMA. That's the only reason we're talking about it right now, folks, because if I didn't believe in this stuff, trust me, I wouldn't be telling you about it. So Inesa, real quick, I know we're coming to the end here, but for a number of people out there that understand the importance of having this stuff, and now, like I did, realize that there is a source out there that is clean, that is what it says it is, that they can verify it and go to the lot number and check it out and all. How does a typical person use this stuff, and can you OD on it?
100% must be used twice a day. And people, I forgot about, you cannot. If you brush your teeth twice a day, it's very, very simple. And this is why. You literally, after you brush your teeth, you put the half or maybe full dropper full based on your own endocannabinoid system. This is like a brand new baby. When you guys open this bottle, like you're literally going to be the first person or the first interaction where the plant is going to get activated. The plant has never been activated from the seed to the growth, through the extraction process, even through putting in the bottles. The plant is going to lose virginity literally in your mouth. When it's going to connect to endocannabinoid system. It's insane. It's literally the heartbeat in it. You better be careful, my girls. Shake the bottles well, of course. No questions asked. Shaking is very important. So each of you have this endocannabinoid system, so it's definitely deficient. But I don't know if it's deficient 90% or if it's deficient 20%. So for each person, it does require a slightly, maybe a lot of times, but sometimes way higher dose. So I don't know what is your dose, because here's a living heartbeat that's trying to connect with yours, and they need to pick up each other like a good speed between each other and figure out what's the right dose. So I would always say starting with a half dropper full and moving towards 1 dropper full, it's definitely should be for everybody available to kind of play around. Always after you brush your teeth, because after you brush your teeth also, you hold it in your mouth for a couple of minutes. It starts healing up your gums and the nerves. And these nerves are fully connected to your brain. So then the healthy brain, healthy nerves, it's like it helps with your brain inflammation at the same time. So now you're healing the brain and healing you're not just the entire endocannabinoid system, but you're healing your brain just by holding in your mouth for 2 minutes. Then you're going to swallow. If you have a little burning going on, it's not a side effect. It's already eating up. And that's why we're so proud of it, because nobody has this. Nobody has this kind of burning sensation. And that burning sensation is these little terpenes are eating up the bacteria, the dead cells, the things that are about to mutate or it's been mutating already. So be happy, enjoy it, allow it. Within 6 weeks or 8 weeks, each person is different. It's going to go away. When you're going to swallow, that's it. At that point, you're welcome to sip of water. It's better if you don't. But that's all what it is. It's twice a day. Find your dose. Make sure you use it right after you brush your teeth. Put next to the toothbrush. I personally use it to get rid of my wrinkles, right? I have a woman right now. Oh my gosh, I have to call her. She wants to, this poor thing, she doesn't even know about this, but I'm even saying on live interview, I'm not, oh my gosh, what if she's watching? But there's a woman, she literally, her dogs got bitten by coyotes. So one got eaten, the small dog got eaten completely, it's gone. The other coyote attacked the other dog that's bigger, but the dog I was told everything was raw open. The dog was like in pieces. So this poor woman, if you're listening to me right now, I just want to say this. I'm so sorry I did not call you yet. I have your number. I had to call you. And I know you're very grateful, but this poor thing, she said the dog was dying and she was crying. So the lady who knew and had Nessa's oil, it's like, why don't you give Nessa's oil? I gave you a couple months ago. Start giving this dog a bunch of Nessa's oil. And that dog, within 2 days after taking so much Nessa's oil, was walking like nothing happened. It heals you from surgeries, from traumas. I know people, they're healed their tissues. If you work out, so it's not just like a one thing to use. You can use it for your skin. You have ear infection, put 1 drop in your ear, like literally in your ear. I'm sorry, in your ear. It's like, so for example, you can literally use this for so many reasons. It's like, it could be as emergency use. You have a heart attack going on, great, that regulates your body. You have viruses kicking in, great. You should be using every day to keep your endocannabinoid system in a check in a daily basis. And at least I would do it for 3-6 full months. Check in the endocannabinoid system and then allow the system to work for you. It's very simple. It's not complicated, because that system alone does so much for you. So twice a day, and use it for multiple other reasons. Like you can put in a belly button. There's so much benefit to it. Skin, gums, your hair, like it's unlimited. Just you have a scar, maybe your muscles are sore. So unlimited.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out, because I might have been overusing it. Every time I go to town in Asheville, if you put me in the room with any of these hoople-headed Marchies, believe me, I got to have another dropper of this stuff before I go to town. Otherwise, we may be doing this interview behind plate glass, being around these weirdos. But no, it's good stuff. But folks, if we'll talk about it more in the podcast, because I still got a whole list of notes that I didn't even get into. So we'll have to have you back, Inesa. But folks, anybody that's interested out there, like I said, I don't bring you anything to which I am not an avid user of. So yeah, discount code PERMA will get you 10% off at Inesa's Hemp. And if you're expecting to pay what you normally do for some of these junkies that are in the convenience stores, she just explained all the reasons why this is, you can't even call it the same thing. So, Inesa, if you would stay on with me after, I got a question or two for you. But where can everybody get your stuff? We got it linked down below, but if they want to know more about what it is you do, because you do have a pretty extensive information thing at your website, tell everybody where they can find you.
I'm actually currently preparing for clinical trials. Case studies are currently happening between 2 countries. I am prepping for one of the biggest scientific projects that we're going to show the world that science are about 100 years behind us at the moment. And it's so big where I think that's one of the reasons why nobody wanted this interview to happen, whatever's been happening behind the scenes, because it's so big. Besides what I'm doing for cannabis industry and Congress and everything, but Regenesis 369 is where we help people to transform their lives from anything. And when I say helping, we're guiding you to step-by-step process, and there's presentation you can watch, which is regenesis369.com, is where you watch how it takes to transform your body from the Satan, for real. Everybody talks biology and chemistry, but it's really Satan. That's number one. And nestleshemp.com is for the product. And Billy, it is the best product, not because it's mine, not because it's working, because it's truly, truly developed based on the God science. The way we had seeds years ago, the way we had plants years ago, the way Jesus was using canna in the Bible. So there's a reason why this plant is so powerful. It's probably it is the most powerful plant on the planet for multiple reasons, which is we need another interview for that. But with that being said, it's not just the same as the gas stations. It's what's happening in gas stations, even in holistic pharmacy stores. I can't say it's garbage. It's actually dangerous. It's dangerous. It's seriously dangerous. I'm about to show the world how dangerous it is, and you guys will know it for yourself. So price does justify not just quality, but also it takes forever to make these bottles. They don't just exist. That's why nobody wants to do it. It's very hard. It's not easy.
Well, go to Inesa's Hemp. See, I'm a little confused because your real name is Inesa, but you go by Inesa on the product. So I'm working it out. I'll get it worked out, folks. I'm telling you what, I stand behind it. This is good stuff. If you would, Inesa, stick around. Like I said, I got a couple of questions for you. Folks, as always, you know the deal on the Pimpcast. We don't bring anything to you that we don't use. And believe me, I use it religiously and I give it to family. All right, y'all. Until next time, stay alert, stay alive.
Just the answer we do. Listen to the earth and God. See the change, what the world's been. From the smallest sprout to harmony begin. In the cycle of life, for the magic's alive. Tune it to the beat, feel the fire and thrive.